Senator Lummis has given us a clear guideline with the Bitcoin Act in Nashville in July.
Michael Saylor just revealed what comes next for the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve.
How should the U.S. pursue a Bitcoin strategy?
Some experts are even saying that they think Bitcoin's price can still hit $250,000 before 2025 is over.
I still believe that we could be 250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year.
With GameStop announcing that they plan to buy $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin for their corporate treasury, Michael Saylor style. With 400 plus South Korean government officials, 20% disclosing that they own 9.6 million in crypto, including Bitcoin, including Ethereum, including XRP and Dogecoin, with BlackRock launching their Bitcoin ETF and Bitcoin products in Europe. Hey, Altcoin Daily Nation, you need to sign up for the Bitcoin Reward credit card by our partner Fold. You spend USD on credit and stack real Bitcoin with every purchase. Reserve your spot today. Only so many waitlist spots are being accepted. This is US only. Use my link below and get on the waitlist immediately. So much is happening in Bitcoin. Crypto is thriving, gaining adoption all around the world. Crypto is particularly winning in America nowadays. We're seeing hurdles being knocked down left and right. Just today, massive victory for crypto. The US Senate just voted 70-28 to overturn the IRS DeFi broker rule. This is a huge step forward. Less negative regulation equals more innovation in DeFi, and now all Trump has to do is sign it into law. Bullish times ahead. Of course, what's immediately next? We have the Stablecoin Genius Bill expected to fully pass within the next couple months. We have a crypto market structure bill that will hopefully pass later this year. And of course, after that, we're all hoping and expecting Cynthia Lummis's Bitcoin bill to pass and spur a major Bitcoin buying spree in America. Michael Saylor put together a whole presentation on exactly how the U.S. should pursue this. A few different scenarios here. You have to believe that something like this is going to happen.
How should the U.S. pursue a Bitcoin strategy? Well, Senator Lummis has given us a clear guideline with the Bitcoin Act in Nashville in July. And what the Bitcoin Act said, it said, let's acquire 1 million Bitcoin over a 5-year period in a programmatic, disciplined fashion, transparent to all. And so let's consider the consequences of this strategy. Well, first of all, last week, the president signed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act or order. If we hold that 200,000 Bitcoin for the next 20 years, even though you see a flat line on the screen, the flat line is worth $3 trillion. So that's the value of doing nothing. Sometimes people think that you have to do something to make money. Sometimes the absence of doing awful and stupid things is making money. Doing stuff is highly overrated if the stuff is trading or selling your Bitcoin. The Lummis bill would acquire 1 million Bitcoin or 1.2 million Bitcoin. If you look at the consequences of that over the time frame, it's worth $16 trillion to the nation. In this case, there's a bit of reflexivity. If the United States starts to more aggressively stockpile Bitcoin, it's going to accelerate the growth of the network. It's going to accelerate capital flowing in the network. It's going to increase and expand the overall digital capital network. If we move to a triple max strategy, you'll end up with 4 million Bitcoin. That's worth $73 trillion to America. And of course, President Trump has laid out a guideline. We should be the superpower. If you want a superpower strategy, here's a superpower strategy. Acquire Bitcoin consistently. By the way, over what time frame? Consistently daily between now and the 0.99. 0.99 is January of the year 2035, the point at which 99% of the Bitcoin supply has been mined. The asset becomes effectively capped for all practical purposes because the last 1% comes out over 100 years. 0.99 between now and then, you've got 10 years for the digital gold rush. You should get your Bitcoin before there's no more Bitcoin for you. And you can see here, in this strategy, we acquire it consistently, and then we use surpluses from the U.S. government to continue to save in Bitcoin. It's worth $106 trillion to the United States. And so what does that look like? Well, the Lummis plan, which is grand, is modest in some ways, And a modest strategic Bitcoin reserve plan neutralizes the national debt. Sometimes doing modest things are actually brilliant as long as you do the thing. It's like the people that bought just a little bit of Bitcoin in 2012. It was a modest investment. It made them billionaires. A modest thing 20 years in advance is a brilliant thing. If you're more aggressive, the triple max plan negates the national debt. The superpower plan creates a global superpower.
In fact, Michael Saylor can't stop talking about this. He says right now we're in a modern day digital gold rush, and the best thing the US could do is start buying Bitcoin immediately, because as soon as they start buying it, they immediately de-risk it even more.
America was built on the gold that the 49ers brought. And so this is the modern digital gold rush. We should just go grab the digital gold. Eventually, the rest of the world will trade all of their stuff for it. But when they buy it, they'll be buying it at 10 million a coin or 20 million a coin or 50 million a coin. And we will basically take our debt and we'll negate it, and then we'll flip to being a creditor nation. And what does it take to be rich? Well, ask Bill Gates or Steve Ballmer or Mark Zuckerberg, or Larry Page or Sergey Brin. What does it take to be rich? It just takes a little bit of vision, a little bit of conviction, and use technology, right? And so in this case, I think our country should be rich. It is rich. We're rich because we bought California for a few $1 million before people knew before they knew Hollywood or Silicon Valley would be a thing, right? And now I think we should buy cyberspace, and it's the most powerful lever imaginable, because you're paying a penny to get $1, and not only are you paying a penny to get $1, but you're de-risking the thing, right? Because in the process of adopting Bitcoin as the network, you force a stampede of all of our allies, all of our frenemies, all of our enemies, and you accelerate the monetization of the network. So everybody's a winner. I mean, arguably, even the rest of the world's a winner, because they're going to be better off using digital capital as a store of value than using Siberian warehouses.
Here's a U.S. Senator from Ohio. He says August is the month. We're going to try and pass Cynthia Lummis's Bitcoin bill in August. This would be huge.
I think if people understand, generally speaking, this is really, really good for the future of U.S. dominance financially around the world, then we'll get to a point of consensus. And I think we're getting there. I think certainly this industry, the Digital Chamber I was a member of 11 years ago, where we took a totally different small group of people and now are a pretty powerful force in Washington, D.C. I think we got to celebrate that too, that's happened in a very short period of time. So it's exciting times. I'm going to lay out the gauntlet. Let's get this done by August. Recess. What do you think? We'll get it done? Market structure, Genius Act, SPR done by August, right? What do you guys think?
So dips like this are buying opportunities, I think. I mean, do you really think that this Bitcoin bull market is over? How could you? 150K, 200K, 250K. These prices are still on the table for Bitcoin this year.
We had a great run from 20,000 to 110 on Bitcoin, essentially, FTX lows until, Trump coin. And now we're having a 30% correction. It's pretty normal for a bull market. So I think, yes, people might have had a little bit too much leverage. Maybe they bought too many shit coins, but I think we're going to clear out all that dead wood. And I still believe that we could be 250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. Does that mean that the particular shit coin you own is going to be 100x higher? Probably not, because people are getting a little bit more discerning in the type of things that they own. But at least from Bitcoin perspective and the global, overall market capitalization of crypto, I think we're going to be much higher by the end of the year than we are today.
My name is Aaron. This is Altcoin Daily. Subscribe to the channel. See you tomorrow.